Here. Welcome to the Underground Garage and our exclusive conversation with two of our favorite people, Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp, as we celebrate their new album, 18. I beg your indulgence for the next 5 minutes or so. I must provide a bit of context for these two special gentlemen. There's a rule in show business that the first time an audience finds you, if you're lucky enough for an audience to find you, they define you. And if you're smart, you pretty much hang on to that identity with both hands as long as you can. These two gentlemen have spent a lifetime breaking that rule, much to our listening and viewing pleasure. After a couple of tries of keeping the same band together, Jeff decided every record would be a new adventure. After his groundbreaking work with the Yardbirds, Jeff proved to be a master in multiple genres, from blues to rockabilly, hard rock, jazz fusion. And that includes having instrumental hits, which used to be a regular part of the pop charts, but had gone out of fashion for quite a long time until he actually single-handedly brought that back. Beginning with Jeff's Boogie, and then the incredible Beck's Bolero, the amazing Rice Pudding, and on to Freeway Jam and Star Cycle, etc. Along the way, he became known as not only one of the great guitar players of all time, but a guy you could depend on to turn you on to great singers and great collaborators. Beginning with his first solo band after he left the Yardbirds, which introduced us to a singer named Rod Stewart, the greatest singer any of us had ever heard. I tell the story in the book how our bass player came breathless into rehearsal with 16 magazine or whatever it was before Crawdaddy and Rolling Stone. And he says, look, Rod Stewart is white. And we said, get the fuck out of here. You know, there's no fucking way he's white. And we didn't believe he was white until we saw him live at the Fillmore East. Jeff introduced us to Ronnie Wood as a phenomenal bass player, and he is phenomenal on those first two albums. We'd never heard of Nicky Hopkins, you know, the great session piano player, and that he was also in Jeff's first band. And that pattern would continue to this day. Bobby Tench, Max Middleton, Jan Hammer, narrator Michael Walden, Jimmy Hall, Imelda May, Joss Stone, Rhonda Smith,
Diana Ross.
You know, so many, right? We can't name them all. Rosie Bones, Carmen Vandenberg, way too many to name. But so you know, if Jeff ever needs a gig to fall back on, you know, he'd make a great A&R guy. I'm telling you that right now. But that brings us to his latest discovery, this new kid named Johnny Depp. It may seem a bit odd at first until you realize that Johnny was a musician before he was an actor. Something I would personally recommend for anyone planning on doing both. See what I did there? Once he started acting, other than a few pirate movies, which he borrowed most of my clothes for, his roles would be as varied as Jeff's genre-jumping expertise. From Edward Scissorhands to Constables and Cops and Sleepy Hollow and Donnie Brasco, various gangsters, demon barbers, to Ed Wood, my personal favorite. And, you know, he took us to Wonderland and chocolate factories and introduced a whole new generation to the legendary real-life character of characters, Hunter S. Thompson. But lately he's been revisiting his roots and started the Hollywood Vampires with Alice Cooper and Joe Perry, and co-wrote most of their second album, Rise. So he's back into the music, and we are better for it. So Jeff, let's begin with how did you guys meet, and how did that turn into the new album?
There was a knock on the dressing room door. So we've got a German lady drummer, so I've picked up her accent. And they said, my guy said that Johnny Depp's here. I went, oh, cool. I knew about the pirates. I'd never seen the film. And I said, yeah, bring him in. Ding. It was, we just burst out laughing straight away. It was,
Yeah, it was weird.
When was this? When was it about?
16.
It was
It was in Japan.
Tokyo, yeah. They were giving Jeff an award over there, and
I needed friendship at that point because we'd been corralled into doing a horrible show.
yeah.
And there was supposed to be an all-star jam afterwards, and Jimmy Page was supposed to be there with a guitar, and he never even brought a guitar.
But he
It was a
brought
bit
the
of a
award.
disaster.
He brought the award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Japanese were applauding like mad after I finished my 3 numbers, and they stopped before I walked off the stage in horror, because where was the jam? Nowhere. That's where.
Oh, wow.
So
No one yet. So I had to sort of run out of the building. And I needed his friendship at that point.
Good timing, huh?
I literally I was there in Japan for the Jeff thing because Joe Perry from Aerosmith, who's also Ka-ting. That's what happens when you drop names. There's a loud noise. So Joe was there, and he asked me to play with him to open up for Jeff. So I said, yeah, sure, of course, and went there. And then after our gig, he goes, hey, come on, I want you to meet Jeff. You got to go say, you got to meet Jeff Beck. And I said, no, I'm all right. I'm okay. And I'd already met Paige. That was like already doing my head in. And then he wants me to meet Jeff, and I'm thinking, listen, it's Jeff Beck. The guy's like a walking mystery. You'd never know what he's gonna, which direction he's gonna. I mean, he's so unpredictable, and I think he's gonna go. Fuck's he bringing an actor in here for? Why is he bringing this actor guy? So I was really, I was not comfortable, pretty shy to begin with, and so he just, no, come on. So brings me into Jeff's room, shake hands, say hi. Jeff's got a Strat on him, strapped to him, and then we just started sort of, slowly talking, and then within about 7 minutes, it turned into just
Howling
like
laughter.
cackles, just sophomoric sense of humor.
That, yeah. And then that's what 6 years ago now, right?
About then.
And then I mean, for me, it's always great seeing a new Jeff Beck album of any kind, because I know you just hate the business with a passion, right? Right. So, how did that turn into an actual collaboration?
Well, Johnny, you remember the moment where you decided I have to go and be with Jeffrey, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, there was. I left wherever I was, and on an invitation.
No, you were filming. You
Uh,
were filming north of London somewhere, and you got fed up with looking at men with golf pants in the lobby of this hotel.
so I showed up on Jeff's doorstep.
You did.
Made the way
He
down.
He drove straight. I saw this stretched limo go right past my house. There's a little. I've got this little cottage as well as the big house, and I went, oh, he's just missed the entrance. So I went chasing after him,
Which makes sense.
and he was parked outside my gardener's cottage with a full Mohican in the back of this limo with his dark glasses. This guy, where does Jeff Beck live? She said, back there.
But then suddenly I hear,
Oh yeah, I thought I was doing the coolest thing.
and so he pulls up in this silver.
It's a 59 Corvette.
59 Corvette.
And it was probably the worst
Convertible.
car I could have taken. You hate those, don't you?
No, man.
Oh.
No, I love them. So yeah, that was my first. That was when I basically claimed squatters' rights, and
You forgot to tell
I haven't
about
left since. It's been 6 years, and I
That's
haven't
not where
left
it
his
began.
house.
It began when you found out I was staying at this hotel down the road from where you live, and I came up to dinner.
Yeah, we were in L.A. after the thing that happened in Tokyo, and I had Jeff over for dinner. You know, so a bunch of us got together, had dinner. Joe Perry and all that. Clang. Jeff Beck, clang.
It was really amazing. I just, you know,
And yeah, we ended up playing. You know, he ended up playing like a bunch of guitars,
Yeah.
and then we ended up on the what's it called?
ah,
Oh, the theremin.
he's got this house.
We ended up on a
That's,
theremin.
it's furnished with all 40s, nothing later than 40s decor, and there's a theremin on a pod standing up there. For about 5 hours, I was trying to play good vibrations with
We
it.
were like, it was like two
Hysterics.
infant, tiny, drunk toddlers. This is exactly what it was like. We're giggling like you know, school kids. Impossible, yeah. It's impossible.
But we did laugh. Yes.
And so then I asked him to play on one of the a rockabilly track on the Vampires record,
Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers, yeah.
Right. It's a good one.
I just found out that's a drink. The bushwhacker is
Bushwhacker?
is a Alabama drink.
Oh, is that what that means?
It's and it
Got to go to Alabama now.
yeah.
I want a bushwhacker.
You don't want too many of those. Let me tell you.
Probably not. No. But yeah. So he and unbelievably he played. You know this. You know, because he's the king. I mean, his rockabilly chops are insane.
Amazing.
So we did that, and then I sent him another track that I'd been working on. This thing, Hedy Lamar, and I sent it to him I sent it to him like this. Hi Jeff, it's Johnny. Hey, this is a new song that I've been working on, and don't think that I'm asking you to play on this, because I'm certainly not. I would never do that to you. And even though I think it's a very good song and you'd sound amazing on it, I don't. No, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not going that way. I wouldn't do that to our friendship. But if you feel like playing, huh? So the next text that came back was, "Send me the stems."
That's the one you want to. That's the one you
Yeah,
want.
and then he sent back this this transcendental solo, this thing that just sends you out into the stratosphere. So I was very lucky already at that point, and then we just kept laughing and coming up with ideas.
So it started to become. Send me another one, or you know, or you just send him
Well,
another one. And
I made the mistake of saying, "Do you want to do a blues album?" And he went, "No, no, anything but blues."
you said no.
I love the blues.
I thought, oh dear,
I
I
can't
just
say-
trod in it.
What am I going to do with the blues, man? That somebody else ain't done.
I understood.
Like, you know,
It was a metaphor for a more wider genre album.
Right.
It's just a saying. Do you want to make a blues album? You know.
yeah.
Although he took it the wrong way.
He just no, he was like, he was because he was listening to things that were outside, really out. He's listening to everything, and both of us were listening to, everything from, like really obscure stuff like Napoleon Strickland, Key to the Bushes, and then we'd be listening to Bauhaus, or we'd be listening to Killing Joke, or
Die Antwoord.
Die Antwoord. So we really explored a lot of just having kept our ears to the ground a bit. Just tried to sort of create something that was, I had a different approach, I suppose, especially for Jeff's. It was a very unexpected record, I think,
It started with
for Jeff.
down in your French house
Yeah.
when Johnny was a late riser,
Yes.
you know. And I thought, let's steal this drum kit from out of the office. He had a little sort of office where he worked, but the drum kit was penned in this little alcove.
Four
And
of them
me and
stole
my-
it. I didn't wake up once.
So we dragged the kit from there to the main house just to see if it sounded, use the room sound, and it sounded like a Motown drum sound, which is the holy grail of drum sounds. And I laid down a track with my engineer guy, who, when he heard about Johnny, he came down there at about 400 miles an hour. So keen was he to get there. And I said, put on Ooh Baby by Miracles. And I played along the drum part. And we tricked it up a bit because I was a bit out of time. But the sound was pretty good. And I put the bass on and then the rhythm guitar and then just a little solo. And then he came in and went, what the fucking hell's this?
I just
We'd already
woken up.
started. And
I just woken up and I walked in with 2 bottles of rosé and ice, south of France
so
and
great.
everything. And he goes, check this out. Bang. And it was,
it was the bare
it was-
bones of the track.
it was the basis of the
So then
of the track.
I don't know why, I felt really sleepy, and I went to the bedroom next door to the studio. And I woke up and he was doing 3-part harmonies to it. I couldn't believe it. I just thought, this is amazing. You picked out the 3-part. And I thought, yeah. He said, I'm ready for you now. I said, no, you're going to sing now. If you can sing the backup as good as you did, you do the lead in falsetto. And he went white and then punched me in the face.
No, in fact, he just went, oh, you did that. I said, yeah. I'm thinking.
I think he
'cause
hated
I'm-
me for about 3 months
I'm in
afterwards.
trouble. I've
Then-
put in like this because I thought I put this layer. I'll just like layer this like a little carpet, underneath the instrumental that we're about to do with Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Ooh Baby Baby. So I threw these 3-part harmonies in. He hears them, comes in the room. He says, "What's that? Who's that? Is that you?" I said, "Yeah." And I'm thinking, I'm going to get kicked out of my own house now. And he says, "Oh, well, you can sing it then. I'll see you later."
No, I nearly
he split-
burst
and he
in because
split.
it was so good. And I think Ben turned around and said, stay out, while he's, he might get a little bit twitchy. If
Yeah, you might find him in a fetal position,
that was
weeping soon.
And I think you denied all involvement in it until somebody said, who's that singing? And then they liked it. So tell them about the Smokey Robinson.
Oh,
That
God.
he heard it,
Oh,
apparently.
God, man.
And he left his number just to call, to say he really dug the version.
This is so
He wouldn't call.
this is so outside, man.
He
This
wouldn't.
is so outside. So
We were sitting on this couch in my little house, and I said, "Come on, now's the moment. You had a couple of drinks. You call Smokey and see what he says about the track." And he
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. Finally, after about 3
hi,
months,
Smokey. What do you think?
he goes, "Okay." So I dialed it and handed him the phone, and he leant forward, and I started pounding him on the back with my fist.
That's
And he was going,
No, your
"My
feet."
number
He was
is
kicking me.
310. Hello, it's just
As I'm
it's
leaving
Johnny
this message.
Depp." No wonder he never called us back.
Jeff's kicking me in the back. I'm
Piss
like,
off, you drunken bastard.
and we never heard from him.
Hello, Smokey.
I'm thinking
terribly
it was the wrong
sorry. It was
number.
my fault.
That's what I'm hoping. Because, yeah.
So then it started up other stuff, and then we sort of got into 2 different channels. There was that I can't say the name of the track because it's got a horrible word in it,
Ah,
and that was exciting as hell doing that weird stuff. But then it didn't follow that line. We went on to something else. I forget.
yeah, that there was this. I think we can say it. It's a bad word. It's a foul word. It's not that foul.
It's my station. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Ah, there you go. So there was something that I had kind of been messing with, recording, but like 20 years earlier, like when I was tour daddy on. My girl Vanessa was on tour, and our baby was, Lily Rose was like a year old or something. So I was just being tour daddy, taking care of the kid and everything. And then I would mess around with these weird programs on the computer. So I came up with this very strange groove when Lily Rose was like 1 year old, and then I just did what I could do with it, and I thought, I don't know what this is ever going to be, So 20-something, 23 years later, I play it for Jeff, and he goes, oh yeah, that sounds like something I might like to take a bite of, because it's an odd
The
song.
album itself is quite eclectic. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, it's sort of like it's like
It's a mess, let's face it.
I think
But it's
Jeff put it really well. I wish I could have said that. In fact, I'll say it now. Jeff said, because I said to him, no, it's not true. Jeff said, it's kind of like if Johnny and I were searching wandering through a record store, together, like at the age of 18 or whatever, like just grab this, grab that, so you're going in all kinds of strange directions.
hence the title,
Yeah.
right?
We had other titles, and they just didn't stick. When you get an album title, everything sounds crap. And it's like Led Zeppelin. When I first heard that, I went, "Oh dear, that's not a good idea." But then
Oh
There
dear.
goes your A&R job.
Yeah.
You lost it.
they stuck with it. They stuck with it, and now it forges itself afterwards.
That's true.
But choosing track titles, unless they're a cover, it's pretty difficult not to come up with something embarrassing.
And that's how it went, really. I mean, day to day, just whatever mood you're in,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it was if we were in. If Jeff
I was
in
just
the
a bit
UK.
worried about making another hopeless failure. I never knew who I knew.
That's why he brought in a hopeless failure to do. Figured it would work against the.
You get the
right?
picture, don't you?
but I mean,
When you've got someone that you just lock in with, the humour. That's the thing, really. It's just that's the gasoline, really,
For sure. the
in your
fuel.
engine. And
but was it a conscious decision to? I mean, you ended up producing it yourselves, right? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
which already is
Pretty much,
sort of
yeah.
a,
Some
I was
help,
listening to a lot of Motown, and I was trying to decipher what magic there was, and how did they get that unity of sound and still have the punch of almost live energy on it. And when any record played in a disco in the 60s, people were just going nuts, dancing in the street. That came on, you're jumping in the air straight away. And it was real players. And now there's nothing like that.
James
left,
Jameson.
So I was determined to at least salute the Motown, a couple of those tracks. And
yeah. You also did Marvin
What's
Gaye.
Going On?
Yeah, what's going on?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Another song that I never ever thought my voice would be
They,
anywhere near.
The challenge you're taking.
It
on
was
some
a
serious
very
challenges here.
it's a
Smokey
definite-
Robinson and Marvin Gaye.
that was the
If you're gonna
thinnest piece.
jump in, you may as well get seriously wet
and
know.
John Lennon, by the way.
and sink if you have to. I mean, if you're going to sink, just
That,
sink.
what's going on with the thinnest piece of ice I've ever walked on, I think. Marvin, that was
That
his
bass,
song
that-
forever.
And James Jameson's bass
Oh,
line.
man.
And I mean,
No, I was not going to let that go. I had to have a go at that.
but it was.
We'd made a sort of a composite of different parts of What's Going On album. So the track jumps onto another part of and
Right.
where he just goes into another mode. But it was just much, when you got a player like Pino Palladino, was able to do exactly, we didn't steal anything off Motown, only just Jameson's bass line. But we had the original stem, but we didn't use it. It was Pino Palladino played it.
Right.
At least I think it was him. he maybe have sent us the stem of Jameson back and said, "This is me." I don't know.
Exactly.
What was suspicious, he never charged me. I thought, yeah, you bastard.
What I mean the breadth. I mean, it feels like almost like a best of album in that sense of something from this album, something from that album, and it just shows again your breadth as well. I mean, you're going from the most beautiful, the opening track,
And that Walker.
Midnight Walk.
Yeah. Which is
Beautiful.
I mean, the guitar becomes the uilleann pipe,
Right,
which is this
right,
that
right.
that sound.
I was, if I move to the point of, gut, then I have to have it. I have to have that. If it's possible to interpret that feeling on the guitar, then I try to do it. And the uilleann pipe is, because it's single note, it's like a sax, you got your jazz players and all that, but this guy, Davis Ballan, he's haunted me. And I've covered a couple of his other songs. And he rang me once from a pub in Dublin somewhere. I heard the version you did of I got more rock and roll songs as well. He said, I play rock and roll. I said, don't want rock and roll. I want you to, just... He said, all right, I'll write you one that cuts deeper. And he did.
Verlaine.
So he wrote that for you.
No,
Oh.
it was just one that he had, but...
I was going to say that's fantastic. And then you go to the the incredible
Venus and Furs.
Venus and Furs. Great idea. You've been a Lou Reed fan, obviously. Huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure, absolutely a Velvet Underground
Yeah.
fan, and just as we started to do these things, like like a Lennon bit, just because simply because because I mean they're so brilliant, and there is a great challenge, so the challenge is the fun bit. It's the fun bit that might not end up to be so fun, but I think it worked out.
Well, I mean, but that was a
most
perfect example of taking a cover and really making it your own. Isolation. We're talking
Isolation,
about.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, thanks.
Just that the back and forth. Have you guys heard the new album, by the way? Yeah.
You better.
Yeah.
You're sitting there.
Yeah.
Why don't we play it now? Then you'll all be aware of it.
We will. We'll throw in some music when you hear this on the radio. But yeah, I mean the back and forth, conversation between you two in the beginning, that really takes it. Now you've moved it away from the original quite considerabably, and
Which
then,
is
and then it just
hard
builds
to-
and builds and builds from there.
Hard to do.
Yeah, but that is the challenge.
It's so ingrained in your mind,
Yeah.
Lennon.
But that's the trick, the trick with covers is, you got to make it your own somehow.
Yeah.
And
It's so
it's either change the gender, change the genre,
right.
change the tempo, change the
Right.
style, something
Yeah.
that just gives it a
Sure.
little bit of, okay, I'm hearing something new now,
Yeah.
And that's just a great example of it,
When
I think.
when you find it, and it was it was a very laid back process, when Jeff and I sort of were kind of going through what we were going to record and what we wouldn't, because it would just kind of come like we'd start playing some song just on the guitar. Meanwhile, again, I'm thinking instrumental, and then, then the next day we're going to cut it, and it's and then it's done, either instrumental or with vocal. It was a super organic process, Sometimes we'd we'd go in and do a couple of overdubs, Jeff would go in and do a solo, and then we'd stop for a few hours, and then I would do background vocals all night or something. And so it was really at our own leisure, really. And that was really nice to not have anyone kind of tapping you on the shoulder,
Yeah.
going, "Hey, what do you got?"
Yeah. So this is all in your studio in
It
France?
was done all over the place, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it
Wherever
was,
you happen to be.
France,
Jeff's-
and Los Angeles, and
yeah, Jeff's, L.A. and
In my
then
kitchen.
France.
In your kitchen? You said?
there was a sewing room
A
actually. wasn't
kitchen, a sewing room,
it? I had to get all the balls of wool out of there.
recorded on an island. Because you can be very loud on an island. Oddly.
Shall I tell them about you and trying to lock up the click track down on the island?
Oh,
So you're,
God.
so you're
For 3
engineering
weeks
also?
it was
You're
going-
also engineering?
Well, we didn't. You know, there were. This is how organic it was. There were times when it was just Jeff and I, and so I don't really know. I'm not good with computers. I don't know how to run all those things.
Sorry, mate.
Jeff is.
How you doing?
Jeff is. He's.
Just light my pipe.
He might be just a bit better than me with computers.
No, I can't do nothing. Like that.
No, he can't. He's as bad as I am. So essentially, we'd end
The
up hitting.
evil
We'd end up
equipment,
hitting
horrible.
just. Oh, that's the red button. Record for each other. So I'd like hit record, and then Jeff would play some. You know, like some shocking thing that came out of Mozart's head, and I'm recording it, going, and then you know,
I hope this thing's on.
I was reduced.
It
Well, I
wasn't.
kept watching the music go across the screen. So I thought, I got it. But it ended up the things that he would play, because every take of the solo or whatever was different. It was a different feel. It was a different this. It was a different note. So he'd really fly around, and so essentially, by the time I hit stop on record, I was cackling like a 3-year-old because I'm watching Jeff play this stuff going, I'll never in my life be able to play that. And it made me happy.
What about
There was
this-
less responsibility.
the second solo on Isolation? I'd finished. I'd got to the peak of the thing, and Robert started horsewhipping me to carry on, so you could hear the sudden acceleration halfway through the song. He's going, "Come on, keep going." So I left it as it was.
Crazy, man.
That's
Good.
great.
It was such fun. It was really such fun.
That solo was spectacular at the end. So, and in the end, and did you manage to mix it yourself? Did you have somebody mix it, or?
We had our kind of main engineer, Robert
Yeah,
Stevenson.
he was a great help. And,
Yeah. And he was available at all hours of the night, which was very good.
Essential.
So he pretty much did the mix. We had another
then,
friend.
Bobby who
on
did
there.
Death and Resurrection.
Mm.
I loved that. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was the coolest thing with
Yeah.
the bass.
Yeah.
A lot of different energy went into that record. Different
Where'd you find that one?
Death and Resurrection. That was his fault.
It was it was a song. Amazingly, it was a song that was released in 1980 by a band called Killing Joke, who were
Didn't you play it to
Very,
him? And he
very good.
laughed.
huh?
You played it to him and he laughed. I went, nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
But I mean, it's such an intense song. It was a really important song for me. Like after I'd had my little stint with, kind of a interesting addiction to painkillers, and coming off of those, you know. Kicking the opiates
I had no
I
knowledge of
remember
this.
sitting in a I remember sitting in a chair, this chair for about 5 days, listening to Death and Resurrection show on a loop, and I just sat there, sort of holding on, like.
Wow.
And there's something about that song that's very, very, yeah, I don't know,
It's about the most-
personal, powerful. Yeah,
It is. Those climbing chords are about as heavy as
Yeah.
you could ever get.
Yeah. So that was great that we ended up doing that one. At least for me, it feels like a.
A cleanse.
Yes, I arrived at the place where I could actually play the song and not just have to listen to it gripping a metal chair.
Wow. Let me see.
Yes, the gripping of the metal chair is never good.
The Wilson brothers show up a couple times, right?
Who?
Yes, so
Dennis Wilson,
well,
Brian Wilson.
Dennis
Yeah.
Brown.
You did the tour with him.
Well,
Right.
this was the project was basically a Jeff Beck album. You know, the third album on the record deal that we had. So I had to think, what am I going to do? You know, I can't write a better song than Caroline No, which bored its way into my bones when I heard it, and so did Don't Talk. I actually recorded Don't Talk about 15, 20 years ago. Just demoed it and never did anything with it. For one reason or another, I lost contact with the guy that was recording it. It was on a what do you call those mini disc things? It's a
Oh,
TIAC. It was a TIAC 8.
Those old TS.
That's how long ago it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
You know, so much dust on the machine. I don't think you could play it anymore. But I just thought, you know, why not draw people's attention to those amazing songs on that most amazing album. You know, I wasn't prepared for it. I just bought this really top stereo, proper transcription unit with a couple of Leek speakers, and my hearing was really not, you know, top. And I put the needle on, and I just was transfixed for the whole afternoon with that album. Just, you know, I'm sure everybody was when they first heard it. And it doesn't leave you, you know, when you hear all that energy. There's different textures that Brian Wilson put in there. So
How long
it was time to do those. Pardon?
How long did you tour together?
4 or 5 weeks.
Well, should we have? We should have some questions from the
He
audience.
doesn't
I
seem to
guess.
need anything or want anything.
Suzette Smith, are you here somewhere? You out there? Oh yeah, there's 3,000 people out there.
I didn't.
I can see.
We've been
That's
fitted
amazing.
up, John.
It's incredible how. Look, they're even on the wall out there. Look at that. Now there's a giant baseball. America's amazing, isn't it?
Suzette, Suzette asks, what has been the best part being back on tour in Europe and the U.S.?
Jeff, very simply and kindly, and Jeff and his wife Sandra just took me in to their house, and I lived with them for months and months and months, and then we went on the first tour together. And so for me, having had to deal with other things at the same time, once those things, you know, are down the road and you drop into the tour, well, you it's like you're home, and you feel at home, like where I can
Fed it
actually
with
be me.
vegetarian food.
What's
for all
that?
that time. But I looked in the bin once and there was a McDonald's wrapper. Where did that come from?
I'd had that in my back pocket for weeks. It was a cheeseburger.
No, I wondered where he got it. We live 50 miles from the nearest.
Yeah. No, so yeah, Jeff's welcome into this incredible situation. I mean, I'm still, I'm still completely, I'm flabbergasted by it. It makes no sense whatsoever, but somehow, when we're together, it makes sense.
Well, that's the thing, I think. Both careers make no sense.
No,
You know, but
my career
But-
never
but
made
comedy-
any
but
sense.
they do.
But,
But they
Everything
do.
makes sense. If
But
you can-
somehow they do.
If you can laugh most of the day, you're on a good
Yeah.
streak. You know,
yeah, man, that's yes. for
That's
you
the
make
thing.
fun of anything.
That's what I mean. I think you managed to avoid
the-
the business part of
We
it.
did.
It got
You
a
know.
bit strong when I bought those propeller hats. That's when I was.
Man, that's. I think it's our goal actually, to perform in multicolored propeller hats, and then be whisked off the stage by the propeller hat.
Yeah, that's it. I just,
I know I'm adding more budget to the tour, but it could be worth it. It could be worth it. Imagine
well,
those
if you want that
t-shirts.
to happen, I'll make it happen.
Would we pay extra for that? Yes, we would. Damn right we would.
Jeff Beck levitating in a
Where's my
propeller
man?
hat, a multicolored propeller hat.
It's a whole new.
Who wouldn't follow that? I will.
No, and Jeff, I know you know, like most of us, I mean, the business part of the business, you know, just can sometimes alienate you to the point where you just don't want to be bothered, you know. But then you go out on stage, you know, and you find your way on stage somehow, right? And suddenly, you know, you get the reason what it's all
Yeah.
about, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
So-
was struggling for a while. I mean, the obviously the COVID thing was not helping, but
yeah,
not playing was the worst thing, you know, because I need to be playing all the time. There's no, if I cheat and have a week off, I suffer, you know. But we're talking 2.5 years, and I'm just about pulling my style back together, you know, because you can't do what I do unless you do that. And as Django Reinhardt said, if I don't practice, if I miss a day's practice, I can tell. If I miss 2 days, my friends can tell. If I miss 3 days, the whole damn world can tell. And that's
Wow.
yeah, I always lock that in. And if you cheat, you're going to pay for it. And
So
it's,
you- I
don't
mean-
walk on stage and you think you've got it locked in here. Maybe, but your fingers ain't going to do what your brain is telling you to do. So far, we've got a catalogue of mistakes on YouTube, and I'm terribly sorry, but I'll iron out the wrinkles.
so it's not just practicing; it's actually playing in front
Yeah,
of an
you
audience.
you cannot simulate in your house really,
Right.
and that's even if you play along to a live thing,
Right.
it's still not that obligation to deliver in front of people. You know. From that minute you are committing yourself to the stage, something happens.
Yeah.
You know, crackle happens. You know, what's that? Something goes wrong. You know, people, they don't realise what we go through.
No one understands.
And they take 50% tax off us. 45, all right, love. Jesus. That's a bit greedy, and let's face it, anybody, shouldn't have that much tax. Where's the incentive? Let's get on to that. Let's get on proper stuff.
Well, you may not feel like you're quite in shape yet, but I got some news for us,
I've
from us mortal guitar players. I mean,
Exactly.
I told him last time I saw him, like what's most irritating is your fucking precision. He never misses what he goes for.
Oh, I
never,
do.
No.
never. Well, you cover it up well anyway. Because it's just
Now, there's
like,
some shocking ones
he
going on.
goes
out
for the
there.
craziest notes in the world, and he just always hits them exactly right.
That's the thing.
That-
when
that-
I was hitting the red button, and he would suddenly go into this he's slicing through planets with his guitar playing, and I'm like,
That's a good way to
this
put
is
it.
ridiculous, man.
I thought you were talking about me for a minute.
I
don't know.
am.
It's a definite form of some brain disorder. What I got.
Well, welcome it.
Yeah. There's something to that, actually. This one we kind of answered a bit. Jamie Lynn Ryan. That's not the Jamie Lynn I know, is it? No. Jamie Lynn,
No.
there you are. Hi.
Jamie.
What was the process for selecting the sequence of songs, the list of songs? included on 18, and how did you go about crafting the arrangements?
We did punch each other in the face a few times about the running order, didn't we?
That was more of just a little
It was-
slap.
how do you get these disparate tracks to flow properly? It's not.
Because as you
At one
said,
point,
it's-
we just
it's-
threw pieces of paper in a hat and juggled them. And
And the
Just-
actual choice of the songs,
well,
didn't come out of the hat.
it was.
I put the hat on. No.
Were you
It-
picking
actually-
from? Were you picking whatever it is, 12 from 20 or 12 from 30 or?
we
12
had
from
about
12.
21 songs, I think.
Yeah,
21.
there's a bunch of songs that we
There's
recorded. and
Forever
didn't
Young was
put on the record.
really amazing. That was a nice track. What else was there? Oh,
There's
loads
some
of
stuff that we wrote that's on that we didn't put on the record. There's a bunch of, there's a bunch of interesting stuff. We just, like, again, it's me and Jeff in a record store kind of going, oh, I really like this record. Let's do something off of Pet Sounds, you know.
I mean,
And,
so
and
you
to
may
be-
have
to-
you may have half of a part two, maybe
Half of a,
half of
Oh,
a second.
I don't know. I think probably we would jump in some deep end somewhere and start something else. Unless, you know.
I think there's some stuff that we did that was a little.
We have to see how this
Yeah, a bit
goes.
more-
People need to point us in the direct. Sorry, no, they don't need to do that.
Well, I mean,
we
the
never
relation-
would know where we're going. In fact.
But I mean, there's always that, the evolution of the relationship's going to, you never know where that's going to go, right?
Well,
Exactly.
there was a clue that we were on the right track in Europe, wasn't it? There's a great big section of girls who screamed and deafened me when he came on. But they were listening to what I was playing, and they were all of one accord. That was what the best thing about the European tour. They were a kind of total Johnny fans of mine, and they were enjoying this whole thing.
No,
It worked really well, I
It was a
thought.
nice combination of
Yeah.
people. Also, I mean, if there are those who have not properly been turned on to Jeff's earlier stuff, I mean, there are far too many masterpieces to speak of, because we've ended as lovers, or endless.
If they'd
So
have
it's-
heckled, I'd have been out there.
it's
Don't worry,
nice
I'd
to-
have taken care of that.
It's nice to be able to remind these people, like, hey, Jimi Hendrix wouldn't have played the same way if it hadn't been for that guy. And I mean, that's a really strange concept to put into your head. And
Jimmy paid a tribute to Jeff, bit
Page.
of rice pudding.
He did.
Hendrix.
That is. I can die happy
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I know
the
that
end
he
of,
played that.
remember which song,
Was
Maureen?
it-
The Freedom, or from Cry of Love.
Yeah.
The last album that Jimmy did
There's
before he
not
died.
one single photo of me and Jimmy in this planet. There's not one single photo of us together. Unless
Yeah.
somebody's out there who's got one. If they
However,
have,
there are awesome stories.
there's just
There are-
there's one picture which was taken with me on bass, out of the shot, and Ronnie Wood is peering behind a screen. So I know I was playing bass, because why was he behind the screen? He was looking around, and Jimmy's there with my Les Paul upside down. So I know that I was on stage, But why did the guy only take him? He left. No, I know I'm ugly, but there's a limit. Isn't there?
Amazing.
Well, anyway, I think, by the end of this tour, you're going to have people coming up and they're going to say, wait a minute, I didn't know he was an actor. I thought he was Jeff Beck's group.
Yeah. Yes.
No, that's the thing. 16 years old. He had
You-
a Telecaster with a custom pickup on it, and Jack Sparrow was a million miles away, wasn't he?
Yeah, a billion
And,
miles
as was
away.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, no.
I couldn't believe it when he at his house. He handed me this jangling mass of scissors, and I got a leather gauntlet. I thought
Put the scissor,
I hadn't seen the
I
film.
put the
But
scissor hands on
this
him,
guy's in serious trouble. He had the.
strapped him into them, and everything.
Why would he
was
make
like,
this?
"Ugh."
And then I
Use,
found
use it
out.
as a bottle, right? Use it as a bottle.
Yeah,
There's a
up
picture.
here.
There's a picture of me playing a Telecaster with these scissors.
We need that. That's the cover of the next one.
We do have a photo of that.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the fun night. That and the theremin. I'll never get
awesome.
over it.
I mean, that
Anyway,
was
we,
such a great experience. I mean, I've already. I mean, there's no reason that I should be here.
The
at all.
audience is dwindling.
You keep
No-
saying that.
But no,
But
Jeff
the-
Beck. There's no reason in the
Yeah, but
world
there's no
why.
reason in the world anymore, is there? There's no logic to this world.
No, certainly not. No.
So we're gonna make our own.